Yeah, of course. All right, so let's hit on the Mac Jones Patriot coaching thing real quick. I mean, I'm not gonna have like a 10-minute diatribe about this just because you get sick and tired of it, right? But like, watching that game on Monday Night Puma, like the one thing that's like glaring to me is like, well, first of all, let me clear something up. Like, we've got to stop this Matty P thing. Like, it's not Matt Patricia's fault. Like, this is not Matt Patricia's fault. This, like, I hope you and everybody else understands that Matt Patricia is simply a mouthpiece. All he does is moves his mouth, and everything coming out of it is what Bill Belichick is telling him to have come out of it, right? So, Bill Belichick, from all the reporting in New England, has been in those offensive meetings for probably more than half of the year now, and he's made it a priority to be in those meetings because it's gone so sour and so bad. And it's kind of insane that, for quote unquote the genius that he is, we're this far into the season and he's had these many weeks to fix it, and it's simply not being fixed, right? And I don't know what it is, whether it is Bill Belichick just not smart enough to conceptualize offenses. I don't think that's the case. I don't know if it's the offensive line sucking, or I don't know if it's the quarterback, who obviously I think very little of him. But we're getting to a point now where like it's starting to become very, very disrespectful, right? And I always had this problem with Kyler Murray on his on-field antics, and now a couple weeks in a row, Mac Jones is walking down that path of being this guy that pushes the blame off of himself. Like, when anything goes bad, he's like screaming, yelling. And I get it, like, obviously players in the NFL do that. Tom Brady has done it for years on end. But I mean, there's some key, you've got to earn that right to do that, if you feel me. So I'm just shocked that Mac Jones on a weekly basis is basically disassociating himself with the problem, when in reality he's a big part of the problem. And that's what irks me the most about him, is that he's starting to have the bad body language, and he's starting to wave off coaches, and he's starting to wave off Kendrick Bourne. I saw that the other night, something that Kyler Murray did quite a bit, where he would throw a bad pass and then like focus the energy of the bad pass on Kendrick Bourne being the issue, the wide receiver. So I'm just starting to see a pattern of troubling behavior out of Mac Jones. I've always thought little of him, but now he's starting to walk down this path where he's trying to say, hey, it's not me. It's completely on Bill. Like, Patricia, whatever. He's just calling the plays. But that's the guy that messed it all up.
I can buy that. I'll meet you halfway. Like, it's not a good look, but like, considering what this sham and farce of a coaching staff is, like, I can't really blame him for being pissed. But here's my counter argument to this. And we've been talking about it since last year, and we've hit on it every now and then, throughout the season. The locker room's been chirping a whole lot too. Do you think Mac Jones is like kind of being like the vocal mouthpiece of everybody, kind of saying what's in the room?
Let me.
I mean, nobody's like dismissing it. There's no veteran in that locker room that's like going to like the media, as like a leak, being like, oh, veteran players in the locker room have, disagree with how Mac Jones conducted himself. I haven't seen any of that coming out of Foxborough, from beat reporters, from national writers, from nothing. Like, absolutely nobody. Like, I don't see anything like that, but I've seen a ton of players come out and openly criticize the coaching staff and decisions and the play calling and all that.
Well, of course they're gonna, Puma. Like, if your leader, your quarterback, is doing that publicly, then that's what's so troubling about this, is that everybody else is gonna follow suit. You feel me? And Mac Jones, I get it, bro. Like, Mac, I understand where you're coming from. The fact that you're not happy with what's happening, I get that. But dude, we're 13 weeks in. Like, you gotta put that behind you and just go play ball, bro. At some point, you've got to come to the understanding that you're not the first quarterback that got screwed over by the NFL front office or an NFL coaching staff, right? A perfect example, Puma. Perfect example. Last year, Trevor Lawrence had by far the biggest debacle at head coaching this league has seen in probably 20 years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Did he go out there?
The season.
Did he go out there and do these theatrics that Mac Jones is doing? Is he openly having like mutinous, like, conversations in the locker room? Like, it's kind of insane that Mac Jones, this guy that we thought was a great leader, intangibles, blah 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 blah, is kind of leading this charge from within. Like, listen, I am by no means a Bill Belichick fan. We've already established that. But I'm gonna side with him on this one. I never thought I'd say that. Like, if you as a quarterback are not gonna buy in from day one, in spring installs, and then in the fall, and then obviously in training camp, and then the regular season, like, when you don't buy into all of that, you're actively the problem, Mac Jones. You didn't even try to make it work.
Okay, so you're Bill. how do you fix this in the offseason?
You can't.
I mean, something's got to give. I mean, it's either like ownership is going to come down and like dictate coaching staff changes to have the locker room and the franchise quarterback be happy, or the head coach is going to have to clean house and tell the owner to like, hey, we're going to have to eat a lot of bad contracts that I came to you with to try to revamp the team. Like something's got to give.
I'm starting to get sick and tired of the notion that he doesn't have enough weapons. Puma, they literally have the two of the best possible tight ends money could buy in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. I'm not saying the wide receivers are elite, but with the weapons that he has around him, Mac Jones should be fine. Like there's far worse out there in regards to like weaponry around a quarterback. So it truly comes down to how Mac Jones is a football player. They tried a very aggressive approach in the beginning of the season to try to air the ball out, to try to have this offense humming. The dude's arm doesn't get the ball downfield enough, and when it does, it gets intercepted. So that's why they're reining all this in, and that's my biggest problem is this dude is actively not trying to make this work. Like, he has a gripe or an axe to grind with Belichick, and I think a lot of it comes down to the Billy Zappi thing, and now I'm not saying he's sabotaging it, but he's purposely not trying to make this work.
Right. So let's, for argument's sake, like, do you move off of Mac Jones in the offseason?
Yes.
Like, do you
Yes,
find
you do.
someone to trade? Because, I mean, you're 21st in the first round right now. Like, I don't think quarterbacks are going to fall down there. Like, this is where the Dolphins have been since Marino retired, is like, we suck, but, like, we're good enough to be in the middle of the first round. And are there free agent quarterbacks that are better than Mac Jones? It's like what we took. So I don't know if they're gonna part ways with Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. I kind of feel like that they're not sold on oh god, what's it? Trey Lance with the ankle and the lack of college experience. And I mean, I think the Bay Area is gonna love him and or that Brock Purdy kid, depending on what happens. But I mean, you're gonna pay more money for Jimmy Garoppolo to come over in free agency. Like, I don't know if Kraft's gonna do that. I mean, now you're down to whether or not Daniel Jones gets franchise tagged or transition tagged or a bridge extension. Mitchell Trubisky, like.
Well, like, I mean, listen, like, at the end of the day, like, in my perfect world, I would love for Mac Jones to get moved, but even I'm a realist and I understand Kraft is not going to allow for Mac Jones to be, shipped out only 3 years into his career with the Patriots. So they're going to try to make it work. Now, I just need to know, can Mac Jones sit down with Belichick in the offseason and come to an agreement that he's going to buy in and he's going to give it his best? Because, I get it. He's mad. He's angry. I get it. I totally do. But you're being a twat. You're being a brat. Simply put, you're being a bitch. Like, just shut the F up and play football. Like, I get it. I totally get it. You were not happy with how things turned out. Maybe you were hoping to have that Joe Burrow-esque second-year jump. I get all that, bro. Like, trust me, I do. But at some point, you've got to put all that BS down. And if Kraft can, go into a meeting with all three of them and come out thinking, you know what, everything's been buried and we can move forward, then sure, I guess we can make it work. We have to find a new offensive coordinator, obviously. That's going to be part of the stipulations that Kraft has to have a conversation with Bill towards the end of the season. But, like, if Mac Jones isn't going to buy in, then, the rest of the offense is not going to buy in, and we're going to have this complete cycle of BS over and over again. And a lot of it's going to come down to the soul-searching Mac Jones has to do to buy in, because like he thinks he's above all of this. Like, that's the thing that irritates me the most about this dude is he thinks he's above all this and he thinks he knows all this. Dude, you're 18 games into the NFL, into your NFL career. You don't know jack shit, bro.
It's gonna be a fun offseason. Can't wait. Can't wait for Kraft to lay down the fire and brimstone.
Well, imagine if they falter down the stretch. Like, imagine if they somehow lose like 3 of the next 4 games. Like, could you imagine, like, just the uproar? Like, it'd be must-see TV, must listen radio in New England for about 3 months straight.
Ain't that the truth?
All right, are we done with this?
I think we've put a fork in the packs for the 5th time this year.
We play the hits.
We went from 20 years of excellence to the XFL.
But I mean, it is sad though. Like, I know we joke about it, but it is sad what happened to this once great organization.